Welcome to the AI Accelerator Podcast, where we turn AI from a corporate buzzword into a superpower. I'm Matt Zembruski, and this is the show for leaders who are done talking about AI and ready to execute. Today, I'm joined by Maurice Hampton, Managing Broker and CEO of Centered International Realty Corporation. Maurice is a community-driven, people-centered real estate leader who believes that purchasing a home is more important than just a financial investment. It's an investment in community. Born and raised in Chicago, he brings deep local knowledge, operational expertise, and a strong service ethic to buyers, renters, investors, and property owners across diverse neighborhoods. With a background spanning property management, real estate investment, contract management, finance, and customer service, Maurice helps individuals and organizations make confident, informed real estate decisions, whether they're first-time home buyers or senior executives. Maurice, welcome to the AI Accelerator Podcast. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Matt, and it's great to be here today.
Well, I'm excited to jump right in, Maurice. You and I have had a chance to get to know each other on earlier calls, and I know there's so much knowledge you have, not only about your industry, but about AI and how to apply it. So let's jump right in and get the party started.
Let's do it.
So to get a very, very brief background, because I know you're passionate about a lot of things and you bring a lot of enthusiasm and passion and expertise to everything you do. You know, you talk about community-driven leadership and people-centered is important, near and dear to my heart as well. Can you just take us back to your journey in real estate and sort of what got you there to really think about people being at the center and your more unique perspective, I would say, on an industry that's very, very large and significant and has a lot of people involved. Can you share a little bit about sort of how you got here and what you're passionate about as it relates to people and real estate?
Absolutely. Well, Matt, there is no surprise that I am a people. And so my people-centered focus started at home. It started with my great-grandmother, who was one of the first homeowners on that side of the family, who valued home ownership and the community connectivity that home ownership provided, the stability that homeownership provided. Coming from a working class family for many generations, it has never been escaped on me just how important the people are to everything that happens in this world. And sometimes we all get a little bit immersed in just the everyday, and work is work and the museums are the institution, but without the people, these places wouldn't exist. There wouldn't be a need. And so in order for us to be responsible corporate citizens, I felt it important to embark on this journey to not only help myself, but to help others within my communities and as many communities as I could reach achieve the goal of home ownership, which is wealth building, which is family stability, which is so many core values that people hold that exist within home. It was important for me to make that accessible. My wife is a naval veteran of the United States Navy. When we began to purchase our home, we realized just how daunting of a task it is, how scary of a step it is. And we really wanted to find someone who could tenderly walk us through that process, but also be very straightforward with us and informed about the market and the risk and reward that we were investing in. It was very hard to find that help. We eventually did find that help, but it became the true catalyst for me to leave my full-time job and start Centered International Realty, because there's so many, this topic is so deep. There's disinvested communities. There are communities that are being gentrified. There are communities that are just struggling to get some of the basic necessities within a community that so many of us really take for granted. A grocery store, a mechanic shop, a hair salon or a barber studio, a gas station. And so I entered this world. I joined the National Association of Realtors, the Chicago Association of Realtors, and Illinois Realtors. And with those associations and those partnerships, I was able to begin to advocate for homeowners and home buyers throughout the country and around the world, quite frankly. Because homeownership is so very important. And again, it's people centered. To me, there is no other people centered entity than home. Home is where you generally are the truest you. Home is where happy happens. Home is where sad happens. Home is where growth happens. Home is where aging happens. Home is where milestones happen. Home is and home doesn't necessarily always have to be something that you own, but I believe in the values of home ownership.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Maurice. And thank you for taking us through that, because being someone who's not a real estate professional, I've really valued just as you did with you and your wife when you first purchased your first home, I valued having an expert that I could go to. And it took me a little while to find the right person, as it does a lot of times for first time home buyers. So, that's just beautiful. And I love everything how you channel your passion there. It's beautiful. And let's move over to AI. I know a lot of our audience are really curious about AI, and I know you're doing a lot of cool stuff. What was
Yes.
your go back, because you've been doing it for a little while now. Go back to the beginning when you first started to play with AI. What was your first sort of aha moment? You were like, "Whoa, this is pretty interesting. I could do something with this."
My first aha moment utilizing AI was synthesizing some research. And for it to take a, 20-page document that I could read, but didn't necessarily have to read or know that there was anything of value to spend the time on the document. To have it summarize it like that was great. And then I started to play with it because if it could summarize that, I wanted to know if it could give me tips on how to organize the files on my computer. If it could give me tips on how to organize my office space here. And so I took a picture using OpenAI's ChatGPT and I said, reorganize this office. And so after it did that, I literally became a madman. I went out to the front of the building. I took pictures of it, redesigned a whole brand new storefront from me. I went into the lobby here, redesigned a new lobby, the reception area, redesigned a new reception area. Went home, give me ideas for new bedrooms. And so it's really cool, the technical business items that I can achieve and I can accomplish with AI. But it's really, really cool some of the how I can bring my imagination and put it on paper.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what I love? Everything, we haven't used the word yet in this conversation, but the practitioner side of what you're doing by practicing and applying it is really where, because it's so powerful out there. And you just gave several examples that hopefully are inspiring people listening to this, because there's so many cool things you can do as you go deeper and deeper into playing and practicing with AI. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, really important. I know you and I do this all the time, and it's really important for anybody listening to really embrace, just get in it and start playing with it, because you just gave several examples, Maurice, that are like places that you go into and out of every single day for years. Your business, your home, the bedrooms and front office and outside the building, and how do people perceive your business. You just covered a whole lot there, and you basically just said as simple as take a picture, ask AI, how can you make it better? So that's awesome. Let's keep going with some really cool practical examples. Can you share an example where let's talk about some of your client interactions, like where you're partnering with AI helped you show up better for a client?
So, Matt, I want to be very clear and dismiss some myths that are out here about AI. I am not fearful that AI is going to replace me. AI needs me as the human source of data and information with the ability to decipher right from wrong based upon almost 2 decades in this industry. I know real estate license law like the back of my hand. And therefore, when I am asking AI to provide something for me, I have to review that output to ensure that it's accurate. But Matt, where this has really made my job a lot easier and a whole lot more fun in making real estate decisions, whether it's a residential property, a commercial property, or an investment property, there's a lot of data and information that needs to be reviewed. Most people that I won't say most people, but a lot of people that I interact with did not specialize in creating graphs and making graphs and reading data and analyzing data and interpreting that data. And so AI has really been able to allow me to take this large stack of data that I know and that I can interpret in a geeky, techie way and really customize it to fit the individual or the consumer's learning style or consumption style of information. We all are not the same type of learners. Some of us are visual learners. Some of us learn by hearing. Some of us learn by doing. And so if I can create proposals or presentations that are specific and tailored to an individual, they feel and they know that they're getting customized service that is truly, truly tailored to them, their experience, and their needs. But it's also giving them the ability to be a true member engaged in this process versus just being the conduit that signs the documents and makes sure that the loan moves through.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about how you're partnering with AI. So you're not just giving it up to AI and pressing a button saying, you go do it for me. And you're not doing it all on your own without AI. It's more of an integrated practice that you have built in. And I'd imagine it's saving you, just some of the examples that you're sharing, it's saving you a lot of time. It's improving your level of quality and proficiency, being able to process documents. Because real estate's a very complex business, just with the way you've described it. There's so much data and laws and different pieces of information that are out there for every single property you represent. Can you share some another practical example or two of like how you apply, how you are improving your ability to be a professional realtor and represent properties and interact with clients just by working with different AI tools, techniques, strategies that you're doing? Because I know you have a whole lot of them. Just share a few examples so people who are listening can gain some inspiration, whether or not they're in the real estate industry.
Yeah. So one of the things that I utilize AI for quite often, Matt, is to fact check myself or to double check my work. And so when I was in grammar school doing math class, I was taught how to do the equation, but I was also taught how to do the equation backwards so that you could double check to make sure that the work was actually accurate. And so AI has truly helped me, for example, creating a listing description. I can generate 10 listing descriptions in the matter of seconds. And I can go through each of those listing descriptions, and maybe one is the perfect listing description for me. But most likely, I'm cutting and pasting and taking and moving different pieces of the things that I'm finding in the different examples that it's given me. And then I'm recreating it myself and I'm giving it back to AI to refine, to polish, and to ensure that I'm marketing and I'm targeting the right audience and not wasting my time and also not creating unnecessary noise for those that are not interested or don't need my service or my product at this particular point in time. It's important that, I mentioned taking pictures, and that's a lot of the fun stuff. But the real reality behind me being able to take a picture of my storefront and ask for 5 different iterations of a new design is something that when I'm ready to actually pull the trigger on redesigning the storefront, I eliminate having to hire someone to simply sketch out or design the front of this building. Now, I'll still have to hire an architect to get plans approved with the building commission. But what I won't have done is wasted a month and a half or more waiting on somebody to give me a few designs that I'm not satisfied with, that I send back, that they send back, and we go back and forth until I finally find something. AI has given me the ability to identify the features that I want immediately and execute on it right away. When we talk about the regulation that is in real estate, so all businesses are regulated by government, right? But our industry is not just regulated by the traditional governments, but we're also governed by state license laws. We're governed by a code of ethics from the National Association of Realtors, if we're members of the National Association of Realtors. We're governed by our company policies, fair housing laws, and so many others. And there's quite often times where inadvertently we can make mistakes. And this is where AI can help us to prevent making those mistakes. It can review our information to ensure that it is in compliance with license law. And and I say this not because we're trying to avoid being in compliance with license law. It just tends to be a lot to know this law and that law and that law and that law. And the majority of real estate brokerages are small independent firms of less than 10 agents. That means that these firms don't have the capacity to hire somebody specifically to be in charge of rules and regulations. And it allows me to really compete and provide that high level service with the big guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There's so much more to go into, Maurice. I want to ask you one more question, maybe just to get a quick thought on you, and then we'll from you on this topic, and then we'll wrap it up. Where do you see the real estate industry going in the next 2 to 3 years with all this changes in technology we're talking about with AI and otherwise?
Well, that is always the $1 billion question. And, we tell people in this industry, if we had a crystal ball, we would be rich already. What I see in the future of real estate is higher quality professionals interacting in the business with their consumers and utilizing technology to make that customer and consumer experience one that is top notch. I see individuals that are unwilling to adapt to change and to technology, finding their ways out of the industries or into maybe different areas of the industry. And I see that our clients and our consumers are going to require a lot more from us, but we'll be able to meet them where they are. Our consumers will also be able to get information that they need in real time that is vetted and that's quality without searching all over the internet and without calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning. By interacting with some of the tools that I put in place on our website, in our intranet, that we make available specifically to our clients and consumers alone. I truly see AI becoming a benchmark for dotting our I's and crossing our T's. And man, I really focus on this dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's because this is where that community focus real estate aspect comes into place. A missed I dot and a missed T cross in a real estate transaction could be a 0.5%, a full percent, thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in a mistake for a buyer or a seller. For the individual that just wants to go to work every day, live their life, and own their home with no headache, it is not acceptable for them to have a single dollar of a mistake. It is not acceptable for them to have their hard work in their home put into jeopardy after they have purchased or after they've sold because something was missed. And the reality is, we're humans. So no matter how much I try or how many hours I stay up to try to make sure that I is dotted and that T is crossed, there is a better solution, and the solution is here and now. The efficiency that AI will bring to our businesses is going to be next to none. The efficiencies that it will bring to my marketing, the admin tasks that take a lot of time but don't generate a lot of revenue, give me that time back to further interact with my clients. And that could be the first time home buyer who is terrified about this purchase. It could be the individual who thinks that they want to sell but needs a different product. It could be the individual who just lost a family member and is now selling a home in a scenario that they never even imagined having to go through, be it sudden or be it planned. We have the ability to do better. And while all of our industry partners are fighting the same fight to do better for our consumers and our customers, we will do the same thing. We will rise to the challenge. We will exceed, and we will do it with the help of our friends, AI.
That's so good. There's so much there. There's so much there, Maurice. As we wrap up, where can listeners? I'm guessing this sparked the curiosity of a lot of people, especially the people who are getting to know you for the first time. Where can they find out more about you, what you're doing for your company, your business, and just reach out and get in touch with you?
So you can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find me at Centered, Centered Realty, or Maurice L. Hampton Real Estate. You can also Google me, and you can find me at our company's website, www.circg.com. That's Charles Igloo Ralph Charles Glue.com. Also, Matt, I'm very excited to be sharing a new business venture where I am partnering with a new company, and myself and a couple of other trainers are going to be actually helping individuals implement AI in their businesses across industries to increase efficiencies and help people to live a healthier, happier, and more prosperous life.
Yes, excellent, Maurice. Thank you so much. And we'll include all that information for those listening or traveling in the car, wherever you are right now. We'll include all that in the show notes that you can click and see down below. But thank you for going through all that, Maurice, because that's great. And for more people to get to know you and what you're doing, I'm really excited to share that with more of the world. So I really appreciate you being here, Maurice, and thank you for your time, for your effort and energy. I know we're going to have you back on the podcast here. Because you've taught us some good lessons and shared some good thoughts about how technology is really here to serve the people, not the other way around. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the AI Accelerator Podcast, where we're turning AI from a corporate buzzword into an unfair advantage for your company, for your business. So until next time, stop talking about AI and start executing.